Good morning. Bright and early this morning. I've got lots to do today. Katrina and I are working in our other business for most of the day, so I wanted to get in early. All right, so I wanted to tackle Rena's question, which was because it's really close to my heart actually, and it's a work that I do a lot. And the question was, what are the first steps when you're setting up your coaching business and you're going to business for yourself? And I've been making some notes and thinking, what is the stuff that I really want you to know? I'm not going to talk about registering business names and things like that. That's you can go find that stuff out pretty easily online. I'm going to talk to you about the stuff that, oh my God, I've got the mother of all pimples there. It's massive. When you can see it on screen, you know it's a big pimple. Anyway, I'm distracted. So I thought about, what is it that I really want you to know? Because I've been in business since 1991. I started coaching in 1991. I became a certified coach in 1999, but I'd been doing it a lot of years before that in a number of different ways. Through sports, I owned martial arts schools for a lot of years and coached a lot of those people. And coaching is coaching, it's getting the best out of people and helping them achieve their potential. So I've been doing it all that time. And I've started a lot of different, hey Kathleen, I've started a lot of different incarnations of my current business, which is a coaching based business. And I've had online versions of the business, or I only worked online. I did stuff where I had an office in the early days, and I would have my clients come to my office. That was, well in the early days, in the 90s. And there are ways, I look back now and the ways that I coach my clients as well, and think about what are the things that I really want them to know so that I can give them the greatest chance of success. Because what you should know up front is, despite what everybody tells you online, the gurus are telling you it's easy and you can go into a coaching business and create a 6-figure business overnight. It's actually not that easy. So you've got to be really freed up in a lot of ways to be able to do the hustle. And so you've got to take care of a lot of things, be confident about a lot of things, be super clear about a lot of things, so that you only have one job, and that is to go out there and build your business without any sense of distraction and worrying about, the bits and pieces that maybe you should have taken care of in the beginning. And so the first thing that I would suggest is that you just start simple. And if you're a coach, you want to offer one thing to begin with. So, when I first started, it was a 12-week coaching package. And I know that's still pretty the norm these days to have a 12-week coaching package, because it's a good amount of time. And so the first thing that I would do is decide on what is the thing that I'm selling. And if you have a 12-week coaching package, that is what you have to sell. You have a 12-week coaching package. Keep it simple and do one thing. And then when you decided on what it is that you're going to be selling, the next thing you need to do is have your systems in place. So if you want to take on clients, you need to have, your client intake stuff. You need to have a way to be paid. So if somebody says yes over the phone, you can take payment there and then to secure that client. Because if anyone tells you that they're going to go away and think about it and come back, usually that's not the case. You've got to get good at selling. You've got to know how to sell your stuff. And the only way you know how to do that is to feel really confident in what it is that you're selling. So if you are lacking confidence in any way, you've got to work on that, because people can see it a mile off. If you're not confident in yourself and your ability to do the work for your clients, and your clients are going to pick up on that. So you've got to be super confident in yourself. So what you need to get started really is you need to know what it is you offer and have it clearly mapped out. So if someone were to have a discovery call with you, you know exactly what you're offering, you know exactly what the outcome is that you're delivering, you know how you're going to deliver it, you know what that system looks like, and you can rest heavily on that. Because one of the things that is important especially when you're starting out, is being able to replicate results. And if you don't have, your coaching pack that you follow obviously every client is going to be different, but there are going to be things that you do that are very much the same every time. So there might be a certain session that you do the first time, and then a certain session that you do the second time, and then in the middle it's just doing what you need to do to get them where they need to go. And then in that final session is the the closeout session and the opportunity to continue the working relationship. But you need to have those systems in place. You don't want to be distracted by that. So that's client agreements. It's things like as I say, the payment forms, and having the ability to take payment online or over the phone. And you can do that now with you don't, back in the day you used to have a full-on bank merchant facility. Now you can have a Stripe app or a PayPal app on your phone, and you can take payment that way. It's very, very simple. You can invoice people through PayPal now and Stripe. So that doesn't have to be a barrier, but you want to be set up to be able to receive money so that you can take clients on easily. If you don't have that set up, you've got a bit of a problem. So for me, I use Stripe. I have PayPal as well, but I also use Easy Pay. So for people that need longer payment plans, I don't want to have to be worrying about that. So I set them up in Easy Pay, and then those payments just come out on a weekly, monthly, or fortnightly, whatever. But I know that I've got myself covered. If someone wants to pay me in full, easy. If somebody wants to pay me in a couple of installments, easy. If somebody wants to pay me in over time, then I've got a system for that as well. And then also I've got membership sort of set up as well, but that's just done through Stripe. So I don't want to harp too much on the money thing, but if you don't have a way to get paid, you're going to struggle. I know there are so many coaches that I've said to them, okay, it's time to get on the phones. You've got some leads there. It's time to go chase them up. How are you going to take payment? Oh, I don't know. And it's like, what? That's going to be a massive hurdle. So make sure you can get paid, and don't rely on people direct depositing into your account. That's kind of 2007 or something. I don't know. But you want to have proper payment systems in place. It's just the way to go, and it's far more professional. So definitely all of those systems. So think of, and you don't get overwhelmed when I say systems. Just think about, what do I need? So if a client comes to me, what do I need? Well, I need an intake questionnaire. I need an agreement. I need a way for them to take payment. I need a way for us to be able to communicate. I need a way to be able to share folders. So for example, if you're in a business where you want people to be sharing stuff with you, set up Google Drive folders with your clients so that you can both be working out of those those folders, and people can share their homework with you and things like that. So think about, what's the best way that you can support your clients? So what systems do you need, and what systems do you need to cover yourself and to make sure that you feel organized? I had a conversation with a coach a little while ago, and he freaked me out actually. He just started to do really well, and he was saying to me, I've got, what did he say? He said, yeah, I've got like a bunch of clients and I don't know where anybody's at. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know where anybody's at? And he said, I don't know, like if they've had 3 sessions or 5 sessions, or I'm like, well, why not? And he said, well, I don't have any system. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, that's the most simple system, right? So just create a spreadsheet, put the client names, and then session 1, session 2 across the top, and then you can just make small notes in underneath each of those, and dates, so when you spoke to the client, what you spoke about, make some notes. It's simple as that. And this isn't necessarily a great thing to talk about, but over the year, when you've been doing this long enough, you're going to have people who are disgruntled at different times. And, I've had people, try to, they want their money back because they never received any sessions. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute, I've got my notes here. You had this session, this session, this session, and on this date I sent you this thing, and then you said you were going to do this thing and you never did it, and all my notes are there. I keep every single email. I keep screenshots of every messenger message in my client folders, because you just want to make sure that you are protected. Because unfortunately, when people invest money and they're not getting a result, and most of the time it's got nothing to do with you, they'll come back and they will try to either get their money back or threaten to sue you or whatever it is, so you just want to have all of your bases covered, and then if you're using something like PayPal, for example, PayPal will seize your account. So if someone says, oh, I didn't get any coaching, she ripped me off or whatever, and PayPal will just like, okay, well, we're holding that money. And so if somebody's paid you 15 grand, they're just going to keep 15 grand in your account and you can't access it until they investigate it. And so I've had that happen. And so for me, it was like, okay, cool. Here's the folder. Here's all the information. And they were like, no problem. And they straight away reversed it and it was fine, because you've just got to have the proof, and the systems are going to help you do that. And it's not everybody's out to get you, and that is rare. For all the clients that I've had, I think I've had maybe 2, maybe 3 people that's happened in all the years that I've been doing it. And so that's how I learned. The first time, I'm trying to think back, but the first time I don't think I had all of that information. I think I was pretty, free and loose with things, and I had a harder time. I had a harder time proving it. But after that, I learned, you've got to keep a track of everything. But like I say, not everybody's out to get you. And most clients you work with are amazing and you don't have any problems. But you just want to, if it's ticking away in the back of your mind, or I should be thinking about that, then think about it, and make sure that you put things in place. It doesn't need to be hard. It doesn't need to be a big deal to put systems in place so that you feel safe and they feel supported, and you've got a way to work together nice and easily. So that would be the first thing. And then, as I said, the second thing is just start with something simple. I work with clients who come to me who want to take their business online, and a lot of the time they're not ready for that because they haven't tested the thing that they're doing. So, before I've taken any of my programs online, these are things that I've tested, on real humans, face-to-face or one-on-one or whatever. So it's important to hone your skills on that one thing that you get good at. And when you've developed that and you understand, really intuitively a way to move your clients from here to here, and you can build a system around that, and you've been practicing that system with your clients for a while, then it's time to take it online. But don't run before you can walk. The quickest, easiest way to make money in coaching and to support yourself in coaching is to work with one-on-one clients. That is the easiest, most direct way to make money working in coaching. You can add bells and whistles later, but you want to get good at what you do first. You want to create some confidence and certainty around that, and then you can move further than that, creating online programs and or different things like that. But in the beginning, the easiest way, the simplest way, the most effective way to make money in coaching is to sell your 12-week coaching package. But it's got to be a signature program. It's got to match up with the market and things like that, but keep it simple. And that would be the next thing, just making sure that you stand for something and you have a way about you that makes you stand out from other people. And your 12-week program, so let me take you back to the fitness industry, because that was my original industry, and or martial arts was, and then I moved into fitness alongside of that. And if you were just selling a 12-week get fit program, that's not as sexy, or a 12-week personal training package, for example, that is not as sexy as a 12-week mummy makeover or 12-week wedding dress program or whatever it is. So you've got to really make your package stand for something so people know what it is that you do and it's really clear. Now, excuse me, I've got a runny nose. You don't have to do that forever. It's good to be known for something, because that's what's going to get you to stand out. Over time, when your reputation grows, it's less important. But in the early days, you've got to make a noise amongst everybody else. And the only way to do that is to offer something special and unique that other people don't have. And so, or other people aren't doing, or it doesn't have your flavor or mix of, wisdom and experience and the way that you go about delivering things. So get clear on the outcome that you want to deliver and build your product around that. And when I say product, I mean coaching program. So if your passion is working with, women going through divorce, for example, then you're going to create a coaching package around that. And then you're going to target that market. trying to be everything to everybody is the fastest way to get lost. So really make sure that you niche in. What was the other thing? Leads. You know, you have to find a way to get leads coming into your business, because if you don't have that, you don't have a business. And most coaches fail because they're just not generating leads in their business, and they're scratching their head and they're thinking, well, how do I even do that? Like, how do other people get clients? How do people get clients? You know, I'm trying so hard, and you know, it's really hard for me to get clients. And that's normal. That's normal in a coaching business, especially in the early days. The way that we do it is we buy leads. And when I say buy leads, we run really strong, targeted Facebook ads campaigns. We go out to events. You know, I don't network these days, but back in the early days, I did a lot of networking. I was always out and about, and I was always speaking. You know, I took on any speaking opportunity that came my way and all that sort of stuff. So in the early days, if you're a coach, get out and network and say yes to things. Put your hand up to do things. You know, I was the president of every freaking club in my community for a while. I was president of BNI. I was president of another Casey Business Networking Group, Casey Business Group, which is a very established group at the time, and it had been around for a long time, and it was filled with a lot of people who were very stuffy and older people. And I went in and I just shook the shit out of that thing, and really I got noticed a lot. And you know, I ended up being invited to have dinner with the mayor and all sorts of things, you know. And that was just me having the confidence to say, I can do that. Yep. When they were going through for the presidency, you know, when the presidency came up, someone said, you should do it. And I'm like, yeah, I will, sure. And I got in there and I did that. And I did that stuff for many, many years. Hey, Donna, I did that for a lot of years. And that is the sort of thing that just keeps building the momentum and moving you forward. So getting out there. What else have I got? The other thing is, if you're not sure, if you don't have a solid game plan about what to do, then you've got to get some help. You know, I remember looking at all the successful people around me and thinking, what is different? Because I've got everything that they've got. I've got all of the skills. I've got the knowledge. I've got, you know, I do things the right way. So why? And most of that was just getting coaching. You know, the first time that I got coaching was when I really came into my own and things really started to take off. Because for me, you know, when you're doing this thing on your own, it's pretty full on, you know, and you're never sure if you're doing it right. And so getting a coach to help you who's been there before is going to help you get there faster. And I know for me, when I became the sort of person who invested in coaching as well, it changed everything. It was such a big game changer for me, and I've always had coaching ever since. And you know, a lot of the time coaches aren't telling me anything I don't already know, but they've just got the pressure on. You know, they're putting their foot down and they're basically saying, hey, come on, you can do better than that. Or hey, you know, remember we spoke about this thing in the beginning, this big dream. Well, I'm not seeing you take any action on that. What's getting in the way of that? And it just keeps you moving forward, but it also helps you be clear. So there have been times when I've been in my business, it's like I've taken it as far as I can get it, and I kind of don't know what to do next. And then so you go to a coach or mentor who's beyond where you are, and then you're like, okay, I've taken it this far, I don't know what to do next. And they're like, okay, well, let's talk about that. And then you get the clear path forward again, and then you just get in there and do the work. And that's the game changer, really, getting help and being the sort of person who invests. Because the thing is, a lot of people treat their businesses like hobbies, and a lot of the time they'll look back and it's been 2 or 3 years and they've had a very expensive hobby, and it's like, when does it become a business? It becomes a business when you step up, when you invest in yourself, when you start to do the work of a businesswoman, you know, of an entrepreneur, and all of those things, you know, having those systems in place. You know, knowing your market, all of the foundational stuff has to come first. And so I talked about systems, and I spoke about having your one thing and all that sort of stuff. But even underneath that, you've got to go through the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are, you know, who am I? What do I stand for? who do I want to work with? And you've got to do the work on your market. You know, if you're not doing the work, hey Lisa, if you're not doing the work on your market and you don't know your market intimately, you're going to have trouble. You know, I saw something the other day. It was so funny. And it was an audio I was listening to, I think. And they were talking about you can have it was really politically incorrect, I've got to say. But the guy, and it was a guy, of course, so politically incorrect. And I feel kind of even awkward talking about it. But anyway, what he said was, you can have a great product in a shitty market and you're in trouble. And the example that he used was, you can have like the hottest chick ever and then you take her to a male gay bar and no one's buying. Like, no one's interested in this woman, because it doesn't matter how good she is, how beautiful she is, how intelligent she is. He didn't say intelligent. All that stuff. If you put her in a bar full of gay men, then there's not going to be any takers. But if you take a woman who's less attractive and you put her in front of a group of men who have been in jail for 10 years, like, there are going to be all the takers. And like I said, politically incorrect and all the rest of it. But the point he was trying to illustrate was, you can have a great product, but if it's in the wrong market, no one's going to buy it. You can have the right market and have a kind of okay product and it's still going to fly, because it's going to do what it needs to do for those people. So knowing your market and getting really clear on your market and their pain points, and, you know, not just a pain point, but what do they desire? What is it that they want? Why would they come to you in the first place? What is it that they're trying to achieve? That stuff's super important, and a lot of people want to run before they can walk in when it comes to that. So who is your market, and what is it that they want from you, and what is their problem right now? Because your job is to work out, how can I solve that problem? And your product becomes that problem. And if you can get clear on that, the rest is easy. You know, and people step out of that all the time because they feel like it's too hard, or, you know, because I think a lot of the time too, it's because it's not an exact science. And, you know, when you've got people there saying, okay, let's do your customer avatar, what magazines are they reading? I'm like, I don't know. What sort of car are they driving? I don't know. You know, what are they watching on Netflix? I just don't freaking know. And so you go, it's too hard. And so that's why a lot of people step out of knowing who their market is. But an easier way to do that is to look back and say, who's my market? Was it me? You know, have I achieved something or overcome something? And so that market is now me. Like, that is who I was 3 years ago or 5 minutes ago, or for some people, whatever it was. Who is that me? Because if it was you at some point, you know the pain points, you know what they're thinking of. Don't think you've got to overcomplicate it more than that. You know, one of my most successful programs was based on a friend of mine who was a perpetual failure in business, and she just kept failing over and over and over again. And I remember looking at where she was falling over and the conversations that we were having, and she wasn't the only one. And so I built my marketing around that woman, because it's like, you're making this so much harder than you need to, and I'm watching this pain unfold. I'm watching this pain unfold. I see this is what you want, because we talk about it, and it made sense. And then, you know, that had been me like 10 years before that, and it's people that I talk to every day. So for me, it's very easy to tap into the market stuff without having to do things like write down the 3 magazines they're reading and crap like that. You know, that's old school customer avatar stuff. It really is. Or ideal client avatar stuff. We've got to just be more practical than that. And are you going to get it 100% right? No, you know, and be okay with that. But those people, if you know them well enough and you hit on enough pain points and you're speaking their language, they're going to recognize themselves as your market easily enough. So don't overthink it too much, but you've got to do the dying. But don't avoid that work. You've really got to do that work. And even if it means, you know, spending just a day, you know, digging in and burrowing in and researching and going in Facebook groups and like, okay, what are the problems? You know, go into Facebook groups and have a look at when people are talking about, you know, the different things that they're struggling with, And you'll see a pattern. Someone will say, oh my God, I'm really struggling with this. Anyone else struggling with this or whatever? And you'll see, boom, because misery loves company and everybody jumps in. I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with that. I find this thing the hardest. All the information's there. It's going to help you to understand your market more. And the more you understand your market and connect with your market, the more they're going to resonate with you. And that's all we want. We want them to recognize that, hey, they are, we are potentially somebody that they can come to for help. I think that's it. I could go on all day on this topic, honestly, because setting up, doing it right from the beginning, getting the right help from the beginning is super important. It's so important, and it's going to save you. People think about, oh, it's too expensive to invest in a coach. Well, the amount of hours or months or weeks that you leave not taking action and not running your business is costing you money. People don't get that. They think, oh, well, I haven't got, 10 grand to invest in a coach or whatever. But they don't get that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months has gone past. How much were you planning on earning every month? You're losing money. And then there's the mistakes that you make, creating products that aren't a market match, or being, a little bit off with your branding or your language and things like that. And having someone help you with that 10 grand is a drop in the ocean. And that's the thing for me, when I've invested, I think the most I spent was 50 grand on a coach. And I never, like I said, a lot of the time those coaches weren't telling me anything that I didn't already know, but they made me do the work that I knew I needed to do, and they kept me accountable, and they made me do it faster. And when you do it faster, you build up momentum. I've never regretted any coaching relationship I ever had with a coach, whether I kind of walked away going, that was kind of good, but I'm not sure what I actually got from that. I never regret it, because every time you invest in yourself like that, you just move ahead further. But it's worth investing. I'm a coach and I'm here, so message me if you want to talk with me. I've got my Secret Coaches business program coming up. But even if you have one session, buy a single session or something like that. If you need clarity and helping you set things, if you're like, I'm starting my coaching business, I don't actually know where I want to go with this. I'm not really clear about my market and stuff. Buy a single session. I offer single sessions. Do a full strategy session, get clear, and then go off and do what you need to do. But get some help if you're at all lacking clarity, because it's going to move you past the hurdle faster. If you haven't got a signature program, really work on that. Know what that is. And ask yourself, I think really honestly ask yourself, do I have a business? Do I feel like a businesswoman or an entrepreneur? Do I have a business, or do I have a hobby right now? And are you treating, and there are two ways to know that. Are you treating it like a hobby? Or, do you go to work every day with determination and strategy about how you're going to move yourself from A to B? And the other thing is it making any money? Is your business making any money? And if it's not making money and you're not going into work every day like it's your job, then you're half-assing it, and it's not going to get you where you want to be. I'm not suggesting that you need to work, 24/7. You certainly don't. You don't need to work a lot of hours to be effective and to be a businesswoman, but you just need to know, okay, this is the game plan for the next little while. This is the next thing that I need to do. When I walk into my office every day, I know what I need to do. I've got my whiteboards there with a big list. I've got a smaller list here. It's like, these are the things that I know I need to do. I wake up every morning, like this morning I woke up excited about, what I wanted to talk about this morning in here. And you've just got to have a game plan, and you've got to treat it like a business, because if you don't, it's going to remain a hobby. And you've got to ask yourself that and be really honest with it. And, am I a businesswoman? Am I running a business, or what else is it? And if it's not a business and you're not running it like a business and you want it to be a business, then it's time to really, really up it a little bit, step up and do the things that you need to do. Create the systems, create the marketing collateral, do all of the things that you need to do. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to say as well. A lot of people think it's got to be perfect for them to go out and start to make money from their coaching business. I don't have a website yet. I launched my $25,000 mastermind program without a website, and I think the website came live, well into when I'd been selling that. So, or selling into the day, the Let's Do Lunch Days, which is a live event that I ran. It was about $350 for the day, and then I moved them into the mastermind program, but I didn't have a website. So you don't need a website. I had a Facebook page and I had a good Facebook marketing campaign. But if you are a coach and you're clear on your coaching package and you know what it is that you're selling, there is nothing to stop you reaching out to people, running a Facebook ads campaign, going to networking events, all of those things, and selling your package. People wait and procrastinate far too long to go out and start to do the thing that they need to do, which is sell. And as I said, you're only going to get to sell confidently when you feel confident in your product. And the only way to feel confident in your product is to create it from a systems-based approach, so you can rely on that and then go and test it, and then you start to get some results. But you've just got to have such belief and conviction in what you do, whatever it is that you do, whether it's coaching or whatever it is. You've got to have confidence in that, and then you've got to have your systems in place. You've got to have clarity, and then you can just go and do what you need to do to build your business. So I hope that helps. Do you have any questions? While I've got you on the line, I always forget to ask if anyone's got any questions. I just get on a bit of a roll. But if you've got any questions, post them. And yeah, I just want to wrap up and say we've got the program next week, which is Launch Your Online Program. I'm excited to get in and do that content. It's going to help you to really unpack that process a little bit of how you do what you do and how you move people from here to here, so that you can help develop that system, so you've got a system in place. And then I've got my other program, the Early Bird's closing out soon, which is Coaching with Confidence and Creating Your Dream Coaching Business. It's a 12-week coaching package, online group coaching package. You get 3 sessions with me, and we're going to go through all of the stuff that we spoke about, getting you confident as a coach, making sure that you've got everything in place so that you feel confident. And then from there, we're creating your signature program, and then we move you into selling that signature program, your one simple signature program. So if you're interested in that, scroll through the feed, you'll see the information there. Or you can go to my website, michellehex.com, and you'll see it's Coaching with Confidence. So you'll be able to access that and have a look at it as well. But it looks like there are no questions. I'm going to go. My Facebook page is up and all these messages are popping up. So I'm going to go deal with those. And I will be back probably tomorrow. But have a great day. And if you are watching the recording of this and you've got any questions about anything that I spoke about, put them in and I'll pop back in and answer them for you. Anyway, have a great day. It's great to see this group growing. Please invite, anyone that you think is going to be interested in doing the program. So the program will run in here, which is the 5-day Build Your Online program. But it's going to be an ongoing group for, it's Secret Coach's Business, and it's going to be this ongoing community where I come in and deliver content like this all the time. This is my passion. It's what I love to do. I love to help coaches. I remember how hard it was in the early days, and there have been many times as well when I've done, what I've been doing and then decided I don't want to do that anymore. I need to change tack. I want to work in a different market or deliver a different product or something like that. And then, you got to start again, essentially. And so I've done this a lot of times. I remember what it was like to struggle in the early days. And I remember, looking back when success came to me and, I'd been sustaining that success for a long time. And I look back and thought, far out, if only I had have, and not with regret, but it's like, wow, didn't I make that harder on myself than I needed to? I just needed to get help. I just needed to pay for leads, because as I said, if you're not getting leads in your business, you really don't have a business. You want leads coming to you so that you can convert them. Whatever percentage you work off in the beginning, you might be, like I did a post yesterday, you might be 1 in 20, you might convert 1 in 20, which is hard work, but you're dealing with, if for every 20 people I see, I'm going to convert 1. And then you get better at it, and then your conversion rate increases so that you closing 3 in 20 or whatever it is, but you just got to keep at it, but I look back and I think, wow, I really did make it a lot harder than I needed to, but I also did a lot of things right. And that was the stuff like, when I first became qualified, I lived in a small country town, and I had a taekwondo school there, so people knew me in the community anyway. And the local paper was there, and I just had this idea, and I pitched it to them, and I said, can I write a column for you for the next 12 weeks? It's like a 12-week, and it was basically, I took people through a coaching program in a weekly column in the newspaper. And like, I just didn't think not to ask. And I think maybe because I'd been doing advertising for the Taekwondo school anyway, I don't know, but they went, yeah, sure. Plus we're always in the paper for, you know, I'd won a lot of competitions, and my students used to win a lot as well. So we're always in the paper. And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. And so I had this amazing, I wish I had have kept it, you know, I cut them out, and I think, you know, if I dig around, I could probably find 2 or 3 of them, but those computer files are gone now, and I probably typed it actually. No, I wouldn't have. No. But every week for 12 weeks, I created this column, and I would walk down the street, and people would, because it was a local paper and everybody read it, and people were like, oh wow, you know, I loved your column this week and that really helped me. And it's like, that's freaking awesome. And then I decided, you know, I'm going to run an event, because I had a coach at the time. She'd been part of my coaching training, and she was a coach that I really looked up to, and she really pushed me. You know, we started working together, and very quickly she's like, well, you know, what's working right now is people are doing events, speaking events. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that. You know, and that's the thing, you know, when you work with a coach, you just say yes, and you just do what they ask you to do, and then you get the result. And so I had no idea, you know, and I think I had like 40 people there. And then, so, you know, I filled my first coaching program through, I had a lot of one-on-one clients from that. But it was like, that was the first time I spoke in public since when I was at school, and it scared the shit out of me. And I got up there and I was really good at it. And it's like, okay. And now to get a room with 40 people in, it's hard to do, you know, but back then it was like the column must have helped. I ran some ads, and, you know, I probably put flyers out somewhere or something. And then from there, I decided that I was going to run some workshops, some one-day workshops, because she's like, people are doing one-day workshops. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And so I did that. And that would have been 2000, I probably did those. And I still had people that message me and say, oh my God, that workshop changed my life. And I'm like, wow, you know, I didn't know what I was doing back then, really, I don't think. But I just did what my coach asked me to do. I didn't overthink it. I just went and did it. And I didn't know that I couldn't do it, I think is the thing. And now we have so much information, we're exposed to so much. And, you know, there was no comparison-itis for me, because no one was doing what I was doing. And it was just like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'll do that, no problem. Yep, I know how to do that. And I just did it. And now we overthink things way too much. So yeah, stop overthinking and just start doing it. And, you know, even, I'm trying to think of what year it was. I think it was 2012. I ran an event for martial arts school owners. I'd launched my Honourable Martial Arts Entrepreneur Business Program. And I launched that, and I paid a lot of money for the venue, just couldn't get bums on seats. I had something like 10 people in the room, and the room was like huge. It was so bad. Anyway, but they loved it. You know, I had people in that they signed up to my program. That day was about I think it was a $26,000 day that day. Even though I had no people there, the people that were there absolutely loved it. And the people who could afford the program, it was about 10 grand, I think, signed up because they loved it so much. And it was shit because I wanted 40 or 50 people in the room and I had 10, but I made it work. You know, I just made it work. I got there, I concentrated on the people that I did have there. I treated them with love and all that sort of stuff. And then, you know, a bunch of people signed up. I went on to create a webinar-based version of that program. So I had people, you know, coming from all around the world to do the program. And then I had like a digital download that was $200. And I ended up selling that more than anything else because I was getting ready to move into a different type of coaching. But yeah, you know, when you start and you lay down those foundations like I spoke about, and you just stick with it and you start to see success, it's not an overnight thing. And people think, oh, all of a sudden they're going to be successful, but it creeps up. You know, it's just consistently doing the things that you need to do day in, day out over a long period. And you might not think you're succeeding sometimes, but then you've got to go back and go, well, where was I 12 months ago? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot that, things were like that. I've got a journal, an online journal that goes back 5 years. And so any given day because I journal every day, sometimes a few times a day, I log in, and some days it's like, oh, I wonder what I was doing 3 years ago on this day, or I wonder what I was doing 5 years ago on this day. It's freaking awesome, and it's like, oh, I forgot that was even a thing, because you move so quickly. And so, where was I going with that? Don't know. I'm on a roll now. Yeah, but just you'll start to see the success thing. It creeps up on you. It's not this, so all of a sudden you're a millionaire, or all of a sudden you're at 6 figures. It's like you just keep doing the things, and then eventually you have your first, $10,000 month or $8,000 month or whatever it is, and it's like, this is a goal I've been, striving for a very long time. And when you finally hit it, it's like, wow, now I'm the sort of person who does an 8,000 puts it at a six-figure business if you do that for 12 months. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm now the sort of person that can achieve an $8,000 month. Next month I'm going to aim for this. And then there just becomes a point where you go, anything less is not negotiable. I know what I'm capable of now, and it actually wasn't any harder than, the month that I made $4,000. I remember, my best month so far was 55 grand, and that was probably the easiest month I ever did. And I'd been waiting for that one for a long time. I'd been waiting for that one for a long time, and I'd get close. I was sitting on 20K, 25, 30, 33, and it just kept going. I don't know, the closer I got to it, the more I went back. And I know it was all emotional. It was money mindset stuff. And eventually I got there. I haven't done it again since. I will. It's on my list again for this financial year. But, you just set the goal. You set the goal. And one of the girls in my Kick-Ass Academy that's closed out now, Mara, she'd had this goal for, I won't say the figure because that was shared in the group. But she'd been chasing that goal for such a long time, and it took her like 8 or 9 months, and she finally nailed it. And the next month she nailed it again, and the next one she set the bar higher. But once you get it, so for me, when 12,000 was my non-negotiable kind of month for a long time. And then when you hit it, you're just not prepared to go back, and something just flicks in you, and anyone can achieve that. If you work off that one model and you go backwards and you do your numbers, so let's say we're talking coaching, right? And you say, okay, well, my coaching package is $1,000, for those just starting out. That's a pretty, or $2,500. Let's just say $2,500. You should not be charging $1,000 for a 12-week coaching package, just saying. So if it's one-on-one. So let's say it's 2.5, right? Which is a pretty reasonable amount for a newbie coach. So $2,500 for 12 weeks. If you want to make 10 grand, you just got to sell 4 packages a month. Just 4. That's it. And the first month you might sell 1, and the second month you might not sell any, and the next month you might sell 1, and the next month you might not sell any, and then the next month you might sell 2, and then it might take you another month, and then you hit your 4, and then you're like, right, now I know what this feels like. And then you just, like a dog with a bone, you just don't let it go. And that's really working your way back from the lead. So I'm going to just throw this out there and then I'm going to go. But so for example, if you're closing 1 in 20 discovery calls, and I'm using that, like that is an outside number. You should not be taking you 20 discovery calls to close 1 client, but just say it is, right? And you need 4 clients, you're going to do 80 discovery calls, which is a lot. It's hard work. But you might do it in a group. You might run a webinar, or you might run, a training like I'm going to be training next week, something like that. And then you have a way then to close those clients out, or to have the conversations with the clients and work your numbers. So work backwards from that. If you're determined to have a 6-figure business, and just say your goal is to start with $10,000 months, because anyone can do $10,000 months. I'm not kidding. Anyone can do $10,000 months. You've got to sell 4 packages. We're assuming the package is at 4 and 2.5. Then you need to speak to 80 people somehow. How do you do that? You create a campaign, you get the leads coming in, and that's what you do. And of course the numbers are going to be better than that anyway. But anyone can do it. I don't know where that hair come from. And you can do it. Just got to be super clear. But if you want help, message me. We will talk. I've got a ton of different coaching packages, and we can talk about that. I've also got the Secret Coaching Business Program. There's going to be a lot of support in that program. It'll never be that price again. At the moment, it's $2,797. It's Australian dollars. I've even got a 4-part payment plan. It's going to be double that price next time I run it. This is me running it for the first time, but it'll be double that next time. So if that sounds like you, if you're a coach who is, hasn't done the foundational stuff yet, you're feeling a bit stuck, you want some strategy, you want some clarity around that, and then you want to be able to start selling your signature program after we've developed it, then that's a program for you. And it's $1,000 off at the moment, and it includes 3 one-on-one coaching sessions with me. Anyway, that is it. I'm going. I hope that helped. It felt like there was a lot of information in there, but if you're a new coach, I know it's going to be gold for some of you, so hopefully that helped a lot. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.